Well, declining newspaper sales, the rise of citizen journalism and use of new technologies are causing concern at some university campuses in Africa. The African University College of Communications in Accra, Ghana, is one of those universities that are rethinking how to effectively teach communications. VOA's Ndiho has more.
Established in 2001 as the Africa Institute of Journalism and Communication, the Africa University College of Communications has grown into a private, fully accredited institution that offers carefully designed and uniquely branded programs at both undergraduate and postgraduate levels. Kojo Yankah is the founder and president of the university.
You know, journalism at the beginning was just reporting, writing, and editing. And that was how even the Ghana Institute of Journalism was set up to do. But then, communication, I took the broad fields. Communication should be more encompassing. So I had to spread into public relations, advertising, marketing. Then, an equally more important area is development journalism.
The university has approximately 1,700 students from nearly 16 African countries. Now, the university is branching into radio and television.
So we are now branching into multimedia studies to give a broad range of skills at the feet of students, for them to see how can we now apply these skills, technological skills, to do better what we were doing before.
Industry experts say that online publishing and multimedia communications are among the top growing industries, and they are the future of journalism. Some university students asked me to explain why multimedia journalists are trending upward. For me, it was more about passion. To be a reporter, you really have to study hard, like you guys are doing. Make sure that you read a lot. Not just reading newspapers or just reading about what's going on around you, but beyond just things that you do at school. The other thing that works for me is practice. And since you guys are aspiring journalists, practice makes perfect. Despite those fears, journalism and communication studies are still very relevant, and the courses are attracting a lot of international students with varied reasons for selecting their particular path of study.
The basic reason why I chose this school was because it was a communication school, and I was pursuing mass communication back in Nigeria before I changed to Ghana.
It's a communication specialized school. And, you know, it helps. They have different experts who teach you very well in your field and make sure that you come out with the best.
And when it comes to the kind of courses they handle, especially the one I'm specializing in, strategic communication, find out that they are like one of the best around.
The main goal for Musa Larry Prince is to learn and enhance his communication skills.
As someone who is interested in social issues and media in particular, I had the desire to enroll in a communications school.
Most exciting perhaps is that Kojo Yankah recently added a business school that is also generating a lot of buzz, and he also has his sights set on Liberia and Sierra Leone, where he's already in talks with the relevant ministries to open up satellite AUCC campuses. Paul Ndiho, VOA News.
Well, for more insight into teaching new age journalism and the role and power of media, I'm delighted to introduce Mr. Kojo Yankah, founder and president at Africa University College of Communication. He's also the chairman of TV3 Network Limited in Ghana. Mr. Yankah, welcome to Africa 54.
Thank you.
First, it's not every day you meet the person who is the president of a communications college and is also the president or chairman of a media house. Which one influenced which?
I believe my background in the media gave rise to the role that I'm currently occupying at TV3.
Yes. Now, you in the report we saw from our reporter Paul, you kind of saw a gap in media training. When you observe the landscape across Africa, would you say that is a kind of the same thing you observe, beyond the borders of Ghana, that there's a lack of proper training in journalism?
That is very true. You know, pluralism, in other words, opening up the media for private participation, came also with the advent of democracy. Democratization took place in Africa, or started coming out in the 80s. And you saw that before that, there were only state monopolies in terms of radio and television. So as time went on and every country realized that democracy was the way to go, we suddenly found ourselves in a situation where you have liberated the press, but didn't have the trained people to man them.
But what kind of training really can stand the challenges of our time? Because we're living at a digital age where so many people are actually playing journalists, although they are not properly trained journalists, and they sell.
Yeah. Let me go back a little bit. You know, before digital, we had training schools doing virtually reporting, writing, editing,
Yes.
and that was it. What is current now is that you need a combination of independent thinking, analysis. So you need some kind of liberal background to now introduce you to the profession itself. There are ethics and all.
But Mr. Chairman, do we necessarily have an age over somebody out there on their computer, on their tablet, who can actually put out anything and it's consumed by people across the social media? Are we under threat, those of us who are practicing traditional journalism?
In some way, but I still doubt whether they replace traditional journalism. Citizens can just put forward anything. There are certain stories that plague the ethics of the profession. And you must be a professional to know where the boundaries are.
Exactly. Now, tell us a little bit about TV3. It's one of the biggest networks in Ghana. To what extent do you see it as playing a role in development in the country, in transformation of society?
TV3's main mission is to help to transform the society socially, politically, and economically. So TV3 goes out with its slogan, first in news and best in entertainment, to be very fast in getting the news across to its viewers, and then ensuring that people also have the background to the stories. And then, of course, there are lighter moments in entertainment and sports, but it's important that TV3 has set itself the goal of spreading its coverage across not just Ghana, but across the rest of West Africa. And that is the goal for the next 5 years.
Now, to what extent do you see the media really as having that influence in a society where sometimes the politicians, the people with the means, are the ones who actually call the day? To what extent can you as a journalist, set the agenda?
It's a difficult situation to think that, you know, traditionally, say the media set the agenda. Sometimes I'm not very sure whether they do. Sometimes I believe is that the history makers, development makers, the small manufacturers, the innovators, they really set the agenda. What journalists need to do is now go out and look for them and bring them up to the public eye. Now, it's very easy to say, oh, well, we set the agenda and therefore we have everything we put out there will be accepted by the public. It's not entirely true. We need to know what the society is looking for. At the moment, the society is shifting towards social media. The society is shifting towards their mobile phones. So how do we then rearrange in terms of the kind of trading methodology to meet that kind of demand? We can't continue to do the same old things that we're doing. We must look at the viewers, the listeners on the ground. what are they running for? What do they want? People now are more curious about technology. They are more curious about other cultures. They want to know more about other people.
So we must transform, otherwise we perish.
Precisely.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much for joining us today. Kojo Yankah is the founder and president, Africa University College of Communications, as well as chairman of TV3 Network Limited in Ghana. Now, we want to know what you think about Africa 54 and the stories we covered. Join the conversation on Facebook. The address is Africa 54. Check out our headlines 24/7 on voaafrica.com.